Okay, let's get straight into it. Today we're tackling a really important UK MLAOC station, the high suspicion postmenopausal bleeding case. This one can feel tough, but we're going to break it down. Welcome to this clinical walkthrough on the postmenopausal bleeding case for UK MLA, brought to you by Mediate, your 24/7 practice partner.
So, here's our game plan. We're going to walk through this consultation in 5 clear stages. We'll start with the initial encounter, then build the clinical picture, tackle the diagnosis and those difficult conversations, map out the management plan, and finish strong with closing and critical reasoning. This is your roadmap for this station.
All right, part 1, the initial encounter. You know, those first 30 seconds are absolutely crucial. They set the entire tone for the consultation, so let's make them count. Think of your introduction as a simple 3-step framework you can use every single time. First, greet the patient warmly. Second, confirm their identity. And third, and this is so important, set a compassionate tone right from the very beginning. So what does that sound like? Something like this works perfectly. Saying this immediately builds rapport. It tells the patient, hey, this is a safe space. You can talk to me. It shows you're there to support them, not just to diagnose them.
Okay, let's move on to the real detective work, building the clinical picture. To do this well, you need a focused and systematic approach to taking your history.
You have to get specific about the bleeding. Ask these questions every time. When did it start? How often is it happening? What does it look like? Every detail here is a clue. In this particular case, hearing about 4 separate episodes should get your alarm bells ringing. Next up, you've got to screen for red flags. Are there any other symptoms going on? Things like weight loss or loss of appetite are big constitutional signs we can't ignore. And always check for symptoms of anemia, like feeling tired or breathless. Now for the rest of the history. You'll run through the usual suspects: gynae history, medical and family history, and lifestyle. But please do not forget ICE. Asking about their ideas, concerns, and expectations is what makes this a patient-centered consultation. And now for what is, let's be honest, the most challenging part of this whole station: handling the diagnosis and having that difficult conversation. This is all about empathy. When it comes to the examination, here's how you handle it. You explain that while an exam would normally be done, in this specific situation, it's safer and more appropriate for the specialist team to do it. This shows excellent clinical reasoning and puts the patient first. Okay, deep breath. It's time to deliver the provisional diagnosis. The key here is your tone and your pacing. You need to be calm, you need to be slow, and you need to be kind. This is a really good way to phrase it. You're direct, but you're gentle. You state that the bleeding is concerning, and then you introduce the possibility of cancer of the womb lining. You're not diagnosing, you're explaining what you need to rule out. It's a critical difference. And right after you say that, boss, seriously, just be quiet for a moment. This silence is so powerful. It gives the patient the space they absolutely need to process this huge piece of information. Don't rush to fill it. You know, having these conversations doesn't come naturally to everyone. It takes practice. You can actually practice this exact case right now and get objective feedback on mymediate.com. So you've had that tough conversation. Now what? It's time to lay out a clear management plan. This is where you show the examiner you know exactly what to do next to keep this patient safe. Your immediate actions are twofold, and they are non-negotiable. First, you're arranging an urgent 2-week wait referral to gynecology. Second, you're going to explain what investigations they can expect. No ambiguity, just clear next steps. And when you explain the investigations, you can lay it out like this. You're essentially giving them a roadmap of what to expect from the specialists. This helps manage their expectations and can really reduce their anxiety about what's coming. We're on the home stretch. Section 5 is all about closing the consultation properly and showing the examiner you understand the why behind your decisions. Your safety netting needs to be crystal clear. Tell the patient exactly what to do if they don't get their appointment or if their symptoms get worse. These instructions are an absolute must. And to wrap it all up, use an empathetic closing statement like this. You acknowledge their feelings, reassure them that things are moving quickly, and offer practical support like an information leaflet. It's a really solid way to end. So let's just quickly review the why. Why is this case high suspicion? Well, it's the combination of all these factors. A long time since her last period, multiple episodes of fresh bleeding, her age, and the fact she's on HRT.
Altogether, these paint a picture that demands urgent investigation. And your final check, your last sentence before you say goodbye, should always be something like this. It's your last chance to make sure the patient feels heard and understood. It's a simple question, but it's so important. And there you have it. That's the framework for acing the station. Now it's over to you to put it into action. Remember, you can practice this exact case now on mymediate.com.